Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Erin.
And we are back with another Q&A video. You guys really responded to the Q&A videos we did before.
Yes.
These are more of an uncut format. Typically on these Tuesday videos, we like to try to come up with some type of topic that starts a conversation with you guys down in the comments below. Kind of keeps that going. Want you guys to be a part of the channel as well. We're just the people on screen, but we want you down there in the comments. However, a couple weeks ago, month and a half ago or so, we solicited questions from you guys about what you wanted to hear us answer for Q&A purposes. It went really well. Yeah. It was a more uncut video. It's a little bit more conversational. Yeah. Think of it like a hybrid between a podcast where we're just talking about some topic and we're just covering several topics. So that's what this is going to be. It's going to be largely uncut, maybe just switching over to that camera angle over there because we're watching you. Hey. Keep you interested. Little inside baseball there. We switch to that camera to keep you interested so you don't get bored with the same angle all the time. But nonetheless, it might not even work for you. Who knows? Might not. We're going to answer some questions that you guys have. I think there's like 13 of them.
We're doing digital this time. Last time we had note cards. This is like, we're in the 21st century.
Yeah. This is, last time I printed, I had to cut up comments that I printed out, tape them to the things.
Because you're extra.
It was a whole mess. It was fun for you to throw them.
It was
That
fun.
was great.
I actually really liked that.
I would like to do that again, but ain't nobody got time to be printing stuff today.
It's true.
It's a day like that. So let's go ahead and get into the questions.
Okay. So Joe, I'm assuming it's Uber's UB5RS.
Okay.
Asks, what are your go-to pours?
Okay. It was part of a larger question, and he had some good context there. But ultimately, what are our go-to pours? He said something about like expensive whiskey doesn't equal good, and good doesn't equal expensive. Okay. But ultimately, what are your go-to pours? What are your go-to pours?
I pulled some ahead of time.
Okay.
My go-to pours currently: Wild Turkey Rare Breed.
Always
Always
staple.
And forever. Sagamore Spirit Double Oaked Rye.
Always and forever.
And then the newest addition to the family, this Hard Truth High Road Rye, which is 93 proof, but disguises itself very well.
Very flavorful.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So these are my kind of go-tos when I want something.
Yeah, this Hard Truth is the truth.
Yeah.
Like, that's for real.
Ain't no lie.
For me, I have a few as well, so any Elijah Craig barrel proof, batch, or single barrel. This one is our Barrels for Hope pick. This is our short barrel. But yeah, any Elijah Craig barrel proof is kind of like very classic Kentucky bourbon amped up. And that's what I love. So if you love that too, and you're with me, then give us a like down below. I will say the other thing I really love are Russell's picks. I wish I could find more of them in our local market. They're impossible.
A good pick. You love a good store pick.
I love single barrels. I think
single barrel store picks.
This entire list for me is single barrels. I like single barrels. I like the variety they offer. It is single barrel roulette, so sometimes you buy a single barrel and it's just a dud. If it's a pick, then you got to trust the palates picking it. So like when we do picks for our Patreon community, which if you want to be a part of that, shameless plug down below.
In the description, yep.
Yeah, and you're seeing a banner now. I'm putting it up right now.
Oh,
because I just thought that would be a good spot to do that.
Do it.
But I love picks. So this is a pick. This is actually a pick from a local store. Very good. Yeah. Our pick, we did a Russell's Reserve pick. It's coming up. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. It's better than this. Just saying.
Tasty.
Nashville Barrel Company. I absolutely love Nashville Barrel Company. They are 4 miles from our front door.
Yes.
And the Nashville Barrel Company and the Nash Tucky line, these are actually both Nash Tuckies. This just has the Nashville Barrel Company label. Fine. But anyways, Nashville Barrel Company, anything they offer, I'm not saying everything they offer is amazing. Some of it is just good. I've never had a bad barrel from there.
That Nashville Barrel Company is one of your go-to companies. You would as your go-to pour, you would take any Nashville Barrel Company product.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. They're local. We get to support a local business, and I freaking love the whiskey. And then the last thing for me. Oh my gosh,
you have so many.
Is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof Rye. And this is going to be a shelf available product when it starts coming to market. So be ready for that. But as much as I love Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, the barrel proof rye is even better. So yeah. And again, single barrels. So you may spend some money, and the price on all these, like Russell's is $70. Everything else is like 80 or 90 or $100.
You're a little more risky. I'm slightly more risk averse in my everything. Yeah. Especially whiskey drinking. I like more batch things. Even though
Yeah.
there's batch variants, I like more consistency with batches.
Right, and you tend to like more of a balanced pour with a little bit lower price tag. I tend to like big proof. Neither of us drink heavy volume. We just don't do that. So I tend to gravitate towards higher proof, bigger flavors, because oftentimes if I'm having whiskey on any given day, it's just a single pour or two at the end of the night, and I want those big, bold flavors. So that's our go-tos.
Those are our go-tos. All right, next question. Matthew B. 5680 asks, Matt over at HD.
ADHD. Wow. Matt, I'm sorry for her.
ADHD whiskey.
I apologize for her if you see
Matt
this, Matt.
over at ADHD
Our
whiskey.
friend. Our dear friend.
Matthew Porter at ADHD whiskey.
That's his face. Apologize to Matt.
I'm sorry, Matt. Reading is hard, y'all. Okay. Matt over
Reading is hard. And
at
speaking.
ADHD whiskey admitted that Legend is sort of his guilty pleasure pour. Do you all have any guilty pleasure pours? If you equate guilty pleasure to something you shouldn't drink, I don't, but if you equate guilty pleasure to something maybe that's kind of off the beaten path that you wouldn't normally drink, I would go with Barrel Seagrass for me. I'm not like embarrassed to say this, but this is something I wouldn't reach for regularly because it's finished in Madeira and apricot brandy barrels, and there's definite...
And rum.
Oh, and rum.
Yep, Martinique rum.
Okay, yeah, rum. But there's a definite apricot flavor to it, which I'm not really big into flavored whiskeys. However, this is really good.
Well, I think
So this would be one I would...
guilty pleasures are either things that are kind of embarrassing, which it's just whiskey, so anything you like really isn't embarrassing.
I'm not super embarrassed by anything I drink because that's what I like and take it or leave it.
Right. But the other thing that guilty pleasures can be are very indulgent things. Like you shouldn't be dipping into them.
This
and
is kind
this
of
is
like
where that qualifies.
drinking candy.
Yeah. And for me, personally speaking, indulgence is where I land as well. I don't have anything that I
like
would
to
be
indulge.
embarrassed. But, you know, things like the National Barrel Company single barrels, like some of these things can run $90, $100, $110, $120. And this is the stuff I like to drink. You know, I like to drink the Jack Daniel's barrel proof ryes that are $70.
You like to indulge in 100 plus
Yeah,
price point bottles.
yeah.
That's your guilty pleasure.
Right, like we say we're a real world channel for the real world whiskey consumer, and that means we are value focused.
Yeah.
But in my regular everyday life, what I have found is like the $55 to $105 price point is
I'd say you go for
my sweet spot.
120.
And that's a lot
I'd
of
say 60 to 120.
And here's the thing, that's a lot of money to spend on whiskey that's just going to disappear into your body and then through your system and into a toilet eventually.
Into the sewer system.
Yeah, so like to me that's a guilty pleasure that I'm getting to the point where I really enjoy what I enjoy and I'm willing to pay a little bit more money for it because I don't drink in volume. So I will say this, I did pull this bottle as well. Guilty pleasure, Stag Junior. Not that pretty much everybody knows this is good whiskey. This is a guilty pleasure because it's to the point now to where this is the one product from Buffalo Trace where the quality and the proof and the flavor and all that stuff kind of meets where I really like whiskey to be at, bourbon to be at.
Okay.
And this is a guilty pleasure because it's to the point where I cannot get these locally. I can't get them. Nobody can get them.
Interesting.
And I have, you know, you can try to build relationships with stores and stuff, but it's to the point where I'm ready to just start buying these on secondary. And I don't like to support that part of the market, but right now these are floating around $210, and that's a lot of money for a bottle of whiskey, but it's to the point to where the batches that I've tried and I know I like, I'm almost willing to pay $210 just to get the batches I know I like. And that's, you know, that's guilty to me to overspend.
Yeah.
Because this is a $60 whiskey. And Buffalo Trace priced it that way because that's what it's worth. That's what it should be worth. But I'm willing to pay up for that.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Next question.
Next question. Old Man Crypto asks, what is your favorite band to listen to while having your favorite whiskey? So I'm going to keep it real here, y'all. I drink wine a lot. Wine? Did I say that word? Wine a lot when I'm not filming. So my favorite thing to do, and this is not going to resonate with about 99% of you, is to sit on our couch in our living room, pull up some knitting that I'm working on, knitting projects, pour a glass of wine, and listen to the Spotify playlist called Jazz in the Background. I'll have Josh link it in the description below. I listen to that all the time. I also listen to it while I'm working.
It's a good playlist.
I listen to it while I'm working because I write for a living, so I can't have music with words when I'm writing. So that's one I listen to when I work. Also, when we're cooking dinner, I put that one on. I think it's just a playlist I have all the time.
Yeah. And I will say that it is a good playlist.
Yeah.
And if, for instance, you don't just sit around and drink whiskey unless it's a social situation.
Correct. When we have friends over, I'll be drinking whiskey.
Right.
I'll be drinking whiskey when we film. But when it's just me and you at home, I'm normally drinking red wine.
Yeah. And a lot of times when that's the case, something we have on, if we have friends over, we have something like Jazz in the Background playing in the house, and that's what you're drinking whiskey to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically this Jazz in the Background playlist is amazing.
Yeah.
The end.
For me, easy Tool.
That's your favorite band of all time.
Tool. The best band that ever banded together to band together to create music as a band is Tool.
Okay.
Period, point blank, end of story. I've been listening to them for 30 years, 25 years, and they're just the best.
Okay.
And their music is complex and it's just it's deep and it's meaningful and everything. And that's what I like my whiskey to be. I like it to be complex and have some power to it. Although I do have to give a shout out to our dear friend Greg Johnson turning me on to Sleep Token. I actually am listening to it right now. Not right now, but
wow, you've got some magical powers listening to it right now.
The album Take Me Back to Eden.
Okay.
This is a very, very good album as well. And Sleep Token is on my radar, but the answer is always Tool. But I like that stuff that like a 10-minute long song that I can just sit and dissect, and it's going to take me in a journey.
See, I have too short of an attention span for that.
I thought you were going to say some pop music, like some like upbeat pop music, because that's what you like.
I like to listen to that when I'm driving.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Not when you're drinking whiskey.
Not when I'm drinking whiskey.
And you're not drinking and driving.
Correct.
We do
Not
not
at the same
advocate
time.
that. Do not drink and drive. That's not good.
Correct.
All right, next question.
All right. Amy Richards 690 asks,
whom you gave a gold star to in our last Q&A video.
For asking good questions.
Yes. So
she
shout out Amy.
She has several questions here. They are all very good. What bottle is your favorite go-to bottle to gift to someone? Well, this one's going to make a little reappearance here. Rare breed.
Aaron is just trying to spread the rare breed gospel.
Not everyone would appreciate 115 proof.
16.8?
Yeah,
who's counting?
But I'm going to give it to you anyway.
You're going to get it.
You're going to take it. You might not like it, but you're going to take it.
All right.
There you go.
So for me, I would say if I can find it, if I'm able to get my hands on it, I think a perfect gift bottle right now is Eagle Rare. For if you're gifting it to someone who isn't a huge whiskey fan, like nerdy-wise, but they really enjoy bourbon
flavor,
or scotch.
Yeah.
If you can get your hands on Eagle Rare for $40, even $50, it's a good bottle to gift because it's hard to get. So, if you can gift a bottle that's hard to get, I try to get these when I can get them because I like to have a few on reserve. And we actually really like this product as well.
I do.
But we like to have a few in reserve in case there is a need to gift one. We're only out $35, $40 and it makes a great gift.
Yeah.
However, we like to represent our home state. So
we do.
Nashville Tennesseans here, and anything in this bottle,
that shape.
Yes, this shape of bottle. This is a Jack Daniel's 94 proof single barrel. This makes a great gift because it's a beautiful bottle. I actually got one of these as a gift before I was ever a whiskey nerd from my best friend because he went on a barrel pick with his work and did one, and I loved that thing.
Yeah.
And so to be able to gift these is great, and it's a pretty bottle.
Yeah.
This is like,
and a lot of people are familiar with Jack Daniel's, but
this is different than regular.
But they
Jack
will
Daniel's.
Probably have either had Old Number 7. Is that what it's called? Old Number 7 or Gentleman's Jack.
Yeah.
And to have something like go from that to this they'll feel super special.
Yep. And then the other thing, making a reappearance, Nashville Barrel Company.
Of course.
If I'm giving to a whiskey nerd, this is what I'm giving them.
Yeah.
I'm going to Nashville Barrel Company near our house. I'm picking out something that is amazing, and I'm giving that to them. So
good. I like it.
All right, next question.
I like it a lot. Okay. Amy Richards also asked, Amy Richards 690, what are some tips for setting up a whiskey blind, both individually or for a group? That's a you question. You answer that one.
Get some 2-ounce Boston Rounds. We'll put a link in the description below. Get these if you're doing it for yourself. Label the bottom. I don't know which direction this is.
Don't tell us what it is. This is for a head-to-head later.
This is part of a head-to-head that we're filming after this, but get these, and then pour things into them, mix them all up, walk away from, key them like we just did.
Yeah, we usually Google Forms to make our key.
I have a sample key that I built so that you can check the video description below and see what our key actually looks like. You can do it with Google Forms in the drop-down menus. But yeah, do that for yourself. If you're doing it for a group of people, just pour them like what we do. We do through Patreon. Shameless plug. Going to be part of our Patreon and our monthly virtual tasting experiences. Quarterly, we do a blind flight night where we buy 4 or 5 bottles, pour them into 12 sample jars, one that we keep, and 11 other people can participate. And I'll have 12 jars of this bottle, 12 jars of this bottle, 12 jars of this bottle, and then I will group them together. I'll walk out of the room. Aaron will mix them up.
You put them on like a paper towel, so that way I can move the whole groups in one sitting, and I will mix up the groups so he doesn't know.
Yes, or last time I banded them together and I just started shuffling them around like a shell game until I didn't know what was what, and then the labels on the bottom of ours. And yeah, those sample jars come in super handy. Yeah. But if you're fine knowing what it is and you don't need to be blind, you can just pour the stuff in advance and just let people figure it out. Like, do it blind. You can mix them up and be single blind. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We definitely recommend blind tastings.
Yeah, they're fun. I love them.
Next question.
All right. Ben. Oh gosh. Ben.
It's on the screen. Ben. Thanks, Ben.
Ben asked this question: if a group wants to share a bottle for a night and collects to reimburse the person who brings the bottle, should the person be reimbursed at MSRP or secondary value? Somewhere in between? Question mark. Well, my thought is pay them what they paid for it.
What you paid.
Like, if I come to a party with a bottle that costs $127, arbitrary number, $127, and I'm told I will get reimbursed for it, I would like to get $127.
Yeah. I mentioned Stag Junior earlier. If we were going to use Stag Junior in a Patreon blind flight night, then if I had to buy it off secondary, I would be compensated at secondary value.
Yeah.
If I got it at MSRP, we would be compensated at MSRP, and $60.
I think, granted,
it's the honor system.
It's the honor system. If the
be a good person.
If the person was being a jerk and just went on secondary just because they wanted to go on secondary and pay exorbitant prices, that might be on them. But if they're a decent human being, which I feel like most people are, and they do their best to find it at a good price, just reimburse them the full price they paid for it. Or if it's like a cost sharing thing, they can pay their portion of that cost, and everyone else can pay equal portions into that pool.
If it's cost sharing, there should be a receipt for transparency purposes.
Yeah, agreed.
If it's not that situation and somebody's just buying something to share and then people are reimbursing them, it's honor system. Don't violate the honor system.
Yeah.
Karma is real. Be good. Be a good person.
Yeah.
And if you are mingling with people who are buying stuff at MSRP but trying to charge you secondary to participate in tasting that, I'd find different people.
That's not cool. Yeah. Not cool at all. All right.
Next question.
Put this name up on the screen.
Yep.
Do you guys have a ritual before doing the blind tastings?
Yes.
Cleansing the palate and letting the whiskey breathe. Does it really make a difference? So we do have a ritual, but it's not what you might think. It's right here in this glass. It's not what you think.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, we're not done.
Overall, yes, we do, and it's to make sure our palates are regular, that they're not off that day.
Yeah.
And the way we do that is we take a product that we know and we smell it and taste it to make sure it smells and tastes the way it normally tastes and smells.
However, first, before we do any of that, we always start with our Zebotics.
Oh yeah, we do.
And this
Zebotics
is not sponsored. They have sponsored us in the past. This is not a sponsored video, but through the sponsorship, we have gotten hooked on Zebotics, and we batch film our videos. So every time we film, we take one of these.
Or if we're hanging out with people, or doing a barrel pick, or a live stream.
I was about to say that. If we're doing a live stream, before we live stream, we take one of these. If we go on a barrel pick, we take one of these. So this is the first step in our ritual.
It helps us to not feel crummy the day after drinking, because it breaks down. There's an enzyme that helps your liver to break down alcohol on a stomach level. It's good stuff. We highly recommend that. I don't know if it still works or not. They're not sponsoring us anymore. No. It doesn't matter. We were customers before that. We're going to be customers still. Zebotics/stuff. It's down in the description below.
Yeah, you can try the code and see if it still works.
You can try it. It might save you 10%.
Yeah.
We'd be happy to save you guys some money. we drink Wild Turkey 101. We know what it smells like. We know what it tastes like.
So that's our control pour before we do any head-to-head or
Pours
Unknown or a live stream even. We'll do a warm-up pour.
Yep, and here's why. This is cheap, inexpensive. We can pour some of it and just not even finish the glass. We can just dump it out if we're done. And whatever we're tasting next in a head-to-head or a Pours Unknown, if it's not remarkably better than this, then why not just buy this?
Yeah. Well, and we taste this to say, okay, does this taste like whiskey? Like, is this...
Right. Does this taste like Wild Turkey 101 is supposed to taste?
Yeah.
Then our palates are right. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't taste like Wild Turkey 101 is supposed to taste, if it tastes way off, we don't record.
Yeah. So that's our ritual, but we don't do anything where we don't pour the whiskey a certain amount of time beforehand. Honestly, Josh just pours it right before we film.
Yeah, I try to give like
maybe
a few minutes just to let it breathe.
But it's not a ritual. It's not something where it's super strict about.
And we'll whip some air into it.
Yeah, so that part of it,
the old SJ.
That part of it is kind of hit or miss depending on our time management that day.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Next question.
All right. Trying it with Oliver.
You're struggling with these names.
Well, it's reading multiple words that are squished into one word, and I'm trying to figure out which one.
I'm so upset that YouTube changed to the @ handles, and they went away from, like, the names.
Yeah.
It makes it so much harder. Yeah.
So, Trying It with Oliver asks, with all of the amazing whiskey you've been able to try, what is on your list that you're still looking forward to enjoying? Well...
For you?
For me, I'm going to be like a broken record, but it's rare breed, non-chill filtered.
Oh, I actually...
Which I have tried before.
People are going to see my legs.
Ooh, them thighs.
Skies out, thighs out.
Maybe they'll see your booty if you're bending over like that. Non-chill filtered rare breed. This is something you can only get at like a duty-free store in some international airports. So this is something I want to have for the rest of my life.
It's a liter of cola.
So it's so good. And I want them all. The end. That's it. I'm done.
And this hopefully will be a regular release product at some point and not just duty free.
I don't know. They didn't make it sound like that. You have something on your finger.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
We might have, we'll see. For me, it's just, honestly, it's the next Nashville Barrel Company single barrel.
You guys, we are very, we like what we like. You'll see this pattern.
Or the next Russell single barrel.
I think in a lot of our videos.
I like single barrels. So I'm always looking forward to the next single barrel. These Jack Daniel's single barrel proof ryes. I just want every single one of these that I can buy. Not multiples unless I love it, but I want to buy every one I see. And then if I really like it, I want to buy a few. But yeah, that's what we like.
Yeah.
We like what we like.
We like what we like.
Note, rule number 1.
Know thyself.
Yep.
All right, we have several more questions left. I'm just looking to make sure. All right.
Let's go quick.
Okay. Gorilla Glue Enthusiast asks, how to send whiskey in the mail without getting in trouble? Do you need a license or can anyone? Sounds like a simple question. I just don't want to get labeled a bootlegger by the government.
Okay. I have worked for a shipping industry company for 21 and a half years now, nearly 22 years.
Yeah.
Do not ship. First off, it's prohibited in UPS and FedEx's system to ship alcohol without a liquor license. It's prohibited. Shipping alcohol with the United States Postal Service is a felony. Okay? There's a difference between prohibited and felony. Okay? Do not use the Postal Service to send whiskey to anyone. With that said, you're not supposed to ship if you don't have a liquor license, but plenty of people do. I'm not saying we do. We have a whole video about this. I'll put a link in the video description below.
Okay, that's probably good. Okay.
Next question.
Amy Richards, again, good question. What's your origin story? What motivated you to start your channel?
Well, we wanted to do a creative project together.
Yeah.
And we were sitting around and I would drink whiskey and I was watching a lot of Whiskey Tube. And I saw blind tastings on live streams. I didn't see a lot of recorded videos that were blind tastings.
Yeah.
But then on blind tastings and live streams, if you're looking at a Brown-Forman bottle, you're giving Brown-Forman notes for the bottle. But then you get a Brown-Forman bottle blind on a live stream.
You don't know what it is.
You're not. You might be giving different notes. And I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to showcase that in a recorded video format. And I didn't mind looking like a fool.
So, and you actually started doing this via Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook, live.
In a local bourbon group.
Yeah.
And then it went really well, but I didn't like being the center of attention. And then I would also pour stuff at the end of the night
Yeah.
and sit down to drink it. And I was watching a lot of Whiskey Tube. I would let Erin smell it and taste it. And she would give crazy notes that were not in line with what other people were saying. And I was like, man, we should just do this. Like, we're sitting here drinking whiskey, thinking about creative projects. We can do podcasts and photography projects and video projects. And we're like, we should just do this. And so we tried it. We really enjoyed doing it.
And it was fun. We had a lot of fun together.
And then we have our charity element, which I'm going to go ahead and plug our charity live stream coming up in October. We've raised $31,000 for mental health so far. We need bottle donations to help raise funds this year. We want to get at least $19,000 this year so we can crest that $50,000 raised in 3 years mark. If you want to be a part of it, email us at stuffandwhiskey@gmail.com.
Yes, we would love.
Set a bottle aside. You don't have to send it to us. We don't want it. We'll arrange for you to
earmark
get it.
it for the charity donation, and then we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So now the community is what keeps us doing it, but we started it because I wanted to learn video. We wanted to do a creative project together.
We wanted to do a creative project together.
We had fun. We had fun drinking whiskey together.
Yeah, that's how it started. And like he said, the community is what keeps it going because you guys are awesome. So
next question.
Okay.
Thank you, Amy.
So Dana Wollum asks, "Hey guys, my wife and I have been following your channel for a while and are just wondering what happened to the stuff of Stuff and Whiskey."
Good question.
Well, quite frankly, we ran out of stuff to talk about because we're boring.
So,
and also 99% of you would not appreciate the stuff I want to talk about. So I'm very limited.
Early in the channel's history, we did more uncut like this, where it was conversational. And at the end of the videos, we would talk about other things that weren't whiskey.
Yeah.
So it was stuff and whiskey.
Like my Jessica Simpson brand slippers, which I have in 3 colors, black being the one I wear the most now. These are hard sold. I wear these around the house.
High value item.
Yes.
Yeah. Much use you get out of these.
Much use.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it started with. But yeah, what we could see in the metrics once we actually started paying attention to those is that just people were clicking out. Most people didn't care.
Yeah.
And
we ran out of stuff. Like, we have our hobbies that we like, but we can only talk about them so many times before people are like, get over it.
Right.
Like,
And now on our live streams, we've started to talk about more random stuff on those. So if you want to tune into those, click that bell down there and it'll let you know when we're going live. We do that once a month.
Yeah.
And
also,
they bounce around, so it'll let you know.
If you can't join live, they are on our channel and you can rewatch them.
You can rewatch them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talk about other stuff on live streams predominantly.
Yep, for sure.
And I'm a whiskey nerd, and you're not really a whiskey nerd. You're just
I'm a
casual social sipper.
Yeah.
So you're kind of the stuff, and I'm kind of the whiskey.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
That works. Yeah. All right. The Real D&D asks, what are some of the weirdest fan questions that have been sent to Josh or Aaron that they could share? Has a fan ever stepped over the line? I wouldn't say anyone's like stepped over the line.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we get really any weird questions.
No.
I will say that one of the things that gets on, honestly, both of our nerves, I think that's fair to say, probably more mine than yours, is the narrative in some people that comment on the channel that want Aaron to talk more.
That tell Josh he talks over me and doesn't let me talk.
Or don't let you talk. Like, and I don't know what this is from. I don't know if it's people who are just like, want to see you talk more or whatever, but can you talk about this?
Y'all, I don't have much to say about some things. And I want Josh to talk more because I don't have much to say, especially if it's a whiskey nerdy topic.
Right.
I can give my
Like
opinion,
a list of bottles.
Like a list.
Because you don't commit bottles to memory.
Right. And so, or like what's happening in the whiskey world when we do those topical videos, Josh is the one that's in it.
Right. Don't care.
No, I care, but I'm just here to hang out and to have a good time. So when we do those types of videos, I actually ask Josh to talk more because for me to come up with something intelligent to say about it would be disingenuous to who I am because it would be me trying to pretend I know what I'm talking about. Right. And I don't. And I don't ever want to pretend I do.
And that's one of the reasons why we say we're a real world channel for real world whiskey consumers.
It's hard to say.
It is. Because you are very much the real world whiskey consumer. I'm the whiskey nerd. You're the person that just enjoys a good flavorful pour.
I have a whiskey channel with you. However, I am like your average, I would say like partner of someone who likes whiskey.
Right.
You are the whiskey nerd. I enjoy drinking it with you and with other people, but that's the extent of it.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and shout out, like, if you want to see a female opinion that's really educated, that knows their whiskey, that is plugged in.
Oh,
go
Sarah
watch,
at It's Bourbon Night.
Yeah, go watch It's Bourbon Night.
Yeah.
Sarah knows her stuff.
She does.
Dara over at The Average Drinker knows her stuff. There are females out there who are just as nerdy about whiskey as guys.
Yes. I am not one of them.
That's not us.
I enjoy it,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to nerd out on it. I nerd out on knitting and sewing, and which is why I can't talk about that in my stuff segment because y'all don't care.
Yeah. But and that's cool. Like
Yeah.
it's cool to have both, right? Like
Yeah.
we have personally met Sarah, we've personally met Dara.
They're both awesome.
They're awesome. They have awesome channels. We can't recommend checking them out enough. We'll put links to those channels in the video description below. But you come at it, and I think one of the most beautiful things, back to our origin story and why we started this channel, is the fact that you're not a whiskey nerd. I like that. I like how you give notes that people don't give.
Thank you.
You know, I like how you have a perspective that is outside of the nerdy kind of hive mind of the whiskey space. You know, like I'm in that.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly in
and you
that.
enjoy being in that, and that's
I do.
awesome for you.
Right.
I love it.
But there's a lot of people who are just casually interested and enjoy sipping stuff.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, our channel tends to attract a lot of couples, and
Which I love. I love that. Like when couples watch us together.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
and it's people that are more focused on the community and the social aspect of whiskey and just enjoying a good pour together
Yeah.
over being uber nerdy about the whiskey itself.
Which you're
So,
going to get both ends of the spectrum,
Right.
I think. And I think maybe we highlight a little bit of that, whereas you're more of the nerd, I'm more of the social sipper, as you say. And I think that makes us us.
Yeah. And what I always say is we're not the channel where we split. It's not a 50% load. It's more like I'm the play-by-play commentator, like a sports commentator. I'm the play-by-play guy.
And I'm the
gonna
color
talk,
commentary.
And you're the color commentary. You keep people from dozing off from my talking.
I hope so.
Yeah. So if you like that style of content, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you like this Q&A type of format, we really enjoy it, being more conversational. And yeah, we're going to do more of these. So we need your questions. Leave questions in the comments below if you want to see us answer them on a future Q&A video.
Yeah, we'd love to do that.
Hit the bell.
It's fun.
Email us at stuffandwhiskey for the charity fundraiser. Tons of stuff down there in the video description below for you to check out.
Yes.
Check it out.
Don't forget to put any of that stuff we promise we put in there.
I'll do it. I'll do my job.
If he forgets, let him know.
All right.
All right. That's it for
forget. I
today.
never forget.
Be good to each other, guys. And until next time,
Cheers.